Hey everybody, Greco Fabulous here, and this is going to be my review of NECA's Cherno Alpha and Coyote Tango 7-inch figures from the movie Pacific Rim. Now the guy on your left is Cherno Alpha, he's the Jaeger from Russia, and next to him is Coyote Tango, a Jaeger from the United States who makes a brief appearance in the movie, but is one of the original Jaegers. Now what I want to start with first off in this review is the cosmetics. Because let's face it, what's more important than looking good? So the one thing I've been really impressed with this line from NECA is the amount of detail in these figures. The paint jobs are on point, they have that weathered, battle-damaged look that I love. These guys aren't fresh off the production line. And the molds of these guys have great details with the lines, they're just not big blobs of plastic. The lettering and the logoing goes a long way as well. We got Cherno Alpha with his logo right there. Coyote Tango is branded with USAF and the number 34. He also has the stars and stripes here on his rocket launchers or missile launchers, whatever they are. And then I'll just turn quickly for some profile views. There's that. You got the red star here on Cherno Alpha, which makes sense given that he's from Russia, so it kind of indicates the old former Soviet Union. You have some indecipherable lettering and logoing there too, which just adds more to the authenticity of these figures. There you can see them from the back. And then this side is identical, so I just flip them around completely. The only thing I'm not in love with in terms of the paint job is Coyote Tango's face, his visor. I would love if they somehow made that single part more of a reflective surface or see-through. It's really a small complaint on an otherwise awesome figure. So now let's take a closer look at these guys and see what their articulation is like. So we'll start off with Cherno Alpha. We'll work our way from the top to bottom. Obviously he's like a giant walking nuclear reactor, so he's not going to have a lot of mobility in the front here. But his torso is on a ball joint, so you get some left to right movement and a little up and down. Not so much back, but you get a little tilt down action right there. His arms, I'll flip to the side here. So you got your shoulder joint, which goes up and down like that, and a little side to side. Let's see, is it a full? Yep, it looks like a full ball joint, so you should have complete motion. Obviously when it starts to rub up against this, you'll lose some of your mobility, but otherwise you can wind up pretty good. You have your elbow joint right there, which is pretty much back and forth action, not so much side to side. And then one of the coolest things I loved about this figure is that his arm actually allows for that little rock'em sock'em robot type of punching action, so it actually extends a little bit like that. It'd be cool if they had some kind of switch to really launch that, but I think that the fact that they included that is probably one of my favorite parts of this figure. Then when we just move down to the legs, his hip joint isn't a complete ball joint, so you don't have full mobility, but you go up and down, and then left and right like that. And I'm sure it gives the illusion that it has full mobility, but if you take a look at how the joint's constructed, you can see that there is some limitations to that. And then here's his knee joint, typical back and forth. That, and then the ankle joint's a ball joint, so you can twist them completely like that. And his shoe game is on point. And then one of my favorite features of this figure, which is missing on a lot of the Jaegers, is that you can actually open up his hands. So he has a little bit of grasping action here. And I actually made fun of this feature. I tweeted out a photo of him holding my toothbrush, and I gave a shout out to NECA for thanks for my new toothbrush holder. So it got retweeted, so obviously they enjoyed that. So that's pretty much Cherno Alpha in a nutshell, and I really love this figure. Great job. So now we'll move on to Coyote Tango. So he's more of the same, but he has some special features that make him unique as well. First off, his head does have a little mobility, a little left-right, which is fine. You don't expect their heads to move too much, just swivel a little bit. His torso is a lot more mobile. Like he could actually do a 360 if you wanted him to. So he kind of has that more agile, humanoid kind of feel to him. When you flip him to the side here, he has the standard shoulder joint. Goes up and down, not really left to right movement. Same thing with the elbow. Bends up and down. And he actually has a little bit of motion here on his upper arm, so it can do some kind of twisting action. And then down to his wrist, it's on a ball joint, so it can twist completely and move all around. Unlike Cherno Alpha, though, his fist remains forever closed, so no grasping here, just straight punches from Coyote. And then down here, his hip has back and forth action. It doesn't really go out at all. It does a little bit, but it's definitely not on a ball joint. It's more restrictive than Cherno. But his upper leg actually twists out like that. So you have some flexibility there if needed. And then his his knee is back and forth, and then his ankle is on a ball joint. And again, you're just a little restricted to how it rubs up on the plating down there. But really cool. And then I think what really makes this figure are his two rocket launchers up top. So I love, first off, that they have these like kind of geared look right there. And then you can see when you kind of roll it up, they kind of move down like that. So you can just imagine the sound of the gears bringing these two guys into play. And then when you see that, you know he means business. So I think that's a really cool look. And if you wanted it to for some reason, you can actually bring it down like this. Maybe when he's at ease, but I don't think it looks good like that. So I think it's always preferable to keep it in position like that. So guys, that's it for my review. I think NECA did a really awesome job with this. And when you compare it to the Series 1 figures, especially Gypsy Danger, these guys are much more articulated. The detailing is top notch. And I think NECA's really utilizing the size of the figure better. Gypsy Danger just comparatively doesn't look as imposing, and kind of the body isn't as spread out as these guys are. So I think NECA's definitely improving, and I can't wait to just gobble up more of their figures. So awesome job by NECA. Guys, thanks for checking out my review. If you're a fan of Pacific Rim, I think these guys are must-buys. So get out there.